Welcome to our latest video update. This update will focus on transitions. There are many milestones in a young person's life, and the transition from early years to primary school and from primary school to secondary school are very exciting times. It is also very important we get these transitions right and make them as smooth and as enjoyable as possible. That is the focus of this video update. Our primary schools do an incredible job of transitioning our students from early years to primary education. In fact, they do it so well that this appears almost seamless to many of our parents. However, it is still a transition that we take very seriously and spend a great deal of time getting right. The transition from primary to secondary is often regarded as a much bigger change. This is because it can also coincide with the changing of campus. Therefore, it's even more important that the role of our primary schools at Doucet, Saturn and S107, that we prepare our students for this transition. The secondary section at S107 will feel in many ways very familiar to our primary students because it runs on exactly the same principles and values in our primary school. After all, we are all part of the same St Andrews family. However, at the same time, there will be some differences. Our secondary section here at S107 is slightly bigger than our primary school year groups. We will see the coming together of students from 3 different primary schools. The way in which the curriculum is delivered means we will see more specialist teachers and students will see less of their homeroom teacher. Through events like music, sport, drama, poetry slam, Green Valley Games, joint residentials, many of our students have already had the opportunity to meet and work alongside students from the other schools. This transition is very normal and students quickly adapt. In fact, most children find this very exciting, and it's normally the parents who are more nervous. You can rest assured that here we take this process very seriously, as we want everybody to have an enjoyable and smooth transition. I will now hand over to my colleagues to explain in a little bit more detail.
At S107, we are constantly preparing our students for the next steps in their educational and social journeys. From when our students join early years, age 2, through to primary and then on to secondary, finishing with graduating from our IB courses, there are many transitions they will go through. One of the many advantages of being an all-through school is that our students and families can plan their pathways and see the success that we offer here at 107. Transition process is how we prepare our children and families with the knowledge and security to move from one part of school to another successfully and comfortably. This process happens each year as children move from one group to another, and as we near term 3, we begin to turn our attention towards supporting children with this next step. Although this process happens each year as children transition to a new year group, there are 2 major points for our early years and primary children where the transition process is more significant. The first of these is the transition between reception in early years and year 1 in primary. And the second is the transition from year 6 in primary to year 7 in secondary. Both of these points in our student school journeys signify a major milestone, where they not only move from one curriculum to another and one section of school to another, but also physically move from one part of the school site to another. They can be exciting, but it can also be daunting for our students. This is where we are very fortunate to be part of such a wonderful school community, as we are there to ensure that each student's journey is as successful and as happy as possible. The ongoing transition process involves school leadership, class teachers, our transition teams, and of course, our students and families too. The transition process is a very important one for our children as it prepares them for the expectations, routines, and knowledge needed for the next step of their journey in school. And for our youngest children, it also helps them to feel safe and secure about the next steps. There are many ways that we support both children and families with transition, especially in term 3, when we get closer to the end of the school year and the beginning of a new one. For example, children in reception class will spend more time in the year 1 classrooms and with year 1 children, playing and getting to know the new environment and teachers. Similarly, parents will be invited in to learn about the changes and routines to expect in year 1. Upon starting year 1, learning will follow a play-based approach similar to early years to enable our children to settle in quickly with similar routines. For our year 6 children, as they begin their journey to secondary, term 3 will involve lots of transition opportunities, such as spending time in year 7 with year 7 teachers and students, and meeting other year 6 students from our sister schools, Saturn and Doucet, who will be joining us for year 7. Our transition coordinator, Mr. Mark Anderson, will be fully involved in the process, liaising with families, students, and with our Year 6 and 7 teachers to make the journey a smooth one. Parents and families of Year 6 children will also be invited in for transition meetings and events in order to learn about routines and expectations for Year 7, and the Year 6 and 7 teachers will work closely together in order to ensure a smooth handover and the best possible start for our students as they enter secondary. Transition is a process rather than a one-day event, and it involves the support of our school community, teachers, and parents in ensuring a smooth and cohesive next step in your child's school journey, whether that means to the next year group or to the next section of school. You can support them in the coming months by talking to them about the transition and what to expect. We look forward to supporting your children through the next exciting step of their journey at S107.
We are looking forward to welcoming our new cohort of Year 7s in August, from S107, Dusit and Saturn, as well as other schools in Bangkok and internationally. I'm very pleased to announce that Mr. Mark Anderson has been appointed to the role of Head of Year 7 and Transition, who will be leading this process.
I'm very pleased to be responsible for Year 7 and Transition at S107, and I'm looking forward to working with students and parents from S107, Dusit, Saturn and many other schools. I used to work at Saturn, so I know the St Andrews family really well. And for most of my time at S107, I've been leading the sixth form, so I understand and have experienced the entire learning journey as students go through, from primary through to the end of secondary. I have visited Saturn and Dusit recently, and will be doing lots of work next term with our new Year 7 cohort to make sure that the entire transition process is smooth and that our students have the best possible start to Year 7 in August. Please do get in touch if you have any questions.
The process of transition in secondary is not just limited to Year 7, however. We are working hard to support our students at key points in their educational journey, from Year 9 into IGCSE and from Year 11 into IB. Year 9 students have selected their options for next year, and we have a wide range of pathways, and make sure that each student is supported individually to make the best decisions for them. Further work is planned for Year 9 in Term 3 to support them with the transition to IGCSE, and they will be working closely with the Year 10 students and learning from their experiences of the first year of the IGCSE. Before Songkran, Year 11 students will have finalised their pathways and choices for Year 12, whether they will be doing the IBDP, the new IBCP, or the BTEC or ASDAN courses. As with Year 9 students, we will be having individual conversations with each student to support them and guide them through this process. We will expect a lot from our Year 11 students next year when they move into Year 12. We want them to be leaders and role models in the community. I'm also very pleased to be able to confirm that this year the Year 13 graduation ceremony will take place, as usual, at the end of the year on May the 28th. Last year, due to COVID, this couldn't happen, so we will be making sure that this year's celebration is extra special. One final announcement from me. On the 1st of April, we will be hosting an IBCP discovery event for students and families for S107 and for other schools in Bangkok. We are the only school in Bangkok to offer this fantastic programme for Year 12, so please do RSVP to the marketing department, and we look forward to seeing you on the 1st of April.